I got cut off. I only had about 2 more minutes in the original video, but anyway, the last point I was making was about how um, Columbus is clearly writing to get more funding, and what better way to get more funding than to talk about how great a place is, and to talk about how easy it would be to convert all these people to our point of view, and then this can become part of your empire. And so it is propaganda, though. Just keep that in mind. Not that it isn't true, it's just that all he is sharing is what he sees that is good, and he's not sharing anything else. And keep in mind also on page 71, he talks about people in the province of Avan, A-V-A-N, who have tails. So we're not sure really what we can believe there, but certainly this would have sounded great to the King and Queen of Spain. And of course the letter is probably being written by somebody to decide whether or not they will give the letter to the King and Queen of Spain. And so, Columbus has to be very persuasive there. So those are writing for different purposes. But again, the differences we see between the Native Americans and the Europeans is important. It's a part of our tradition. It's a part of our literature. There are a couple other places you could go in the text if you're interested in the Native American point of view. Now, required reading is going to be the Occam text, and he was involved in the founding of Dartmouth. And some say that he converted to Christianity just to promote this university and to promote education for the Native Americans. But you'll be reading that a little bit later, and you'll see how he got treated when we talk about self-made man and who can make it in this country and opportunity and all that. Tecumseh, you're not required to read, but there's a little bit about him on page 463. And Wamsetta made a speech in 1970s calling Thanksgiving a day of mourning, and this speech was suppressed, and that's in your textbook if you're interested. It's very short. And so so those are some of those Native American writings that you can look at, and you can see the influence. The last point that I wanted to make that Patrick had brought up was about the religious persecution. One of the reasons that the Puritans came to our country was to escape religious persecution, yet ironically they persecuted others in the name of their religion. And not just Native Americans, whom they tried to sort of force into conversion and also forced off their lands, etc., but also the Quakers, and you will see that in the Utopian Promise video, a little bit more of that. And some of the reading that you're supposed to be doing, are the Puritans, and this is a strong tradition in our country, and they are the group that took hold. And sometimes, we can see that influence still today, and even though, as Melissa noted, maybe we have progressed past some of those ideas, at the same time we can see firmly rooted some of our really basic morals and ethics and values in this country are based on what the Puritans said. And so you'll read Daniel Pastorius, who's one of the Quakers, you'll read Elizabeth Ashbridge, who's one of the Quakers, but by and large what we're looking at is the Puritan point of view. Ideas that are so natural to us that we don't really think to look beyond them. And that's what the Europeans did when they came here, but sometimes we get stuck too, and it's hard for us to see points of view outside our own comfortable worldview. And so again, not to be threatening at all, but just as a way to sort of question and think a little more deeply about the values that we have. Think about these things as you read the Puritans, as you recognize some of your basic ideas and beliefs maybe in the writings of the Puritans, and as we continue along with these great discussions. So I look forward to many more great discussions this semester with you. By and large, a super job. I told you the ones that you could look at that were particularly good this week. And don't forget that I'm always looking for more detail from the text to support and to make the discussion even more robust. So I will say good afternoon from Keller, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon.